Yeah, I haven't seen it either. So, the voices are growing louder. People are very upset about the lack of response or even the lack of acknowledgement around climate change. And, that leads us to this here election cycle in the U.S. between a climate change denier and somebody who will certainly be the champion of climate change lip service if they are in the office of the president at the White House, and that would be Joe Biden. Why would we know this about him? Well, because the person that he formerly served under, who was the former president of the United States, was one of the leading champions of lip service on climate change. Certainly he tried, and I won't take that away from him. Certainly he actually made some action while simultaneously ramping up oil production, U.S. oil production and U.S. fracking, and, allowing Arctic drilling or exploration until everybody got really, really mad. And then he was like, well, maybe we won't do that. Maybe we'll stop it. And everybody was like, yay. After he was the one who allowed it in the first place. And there's no evidence that Joe Biden will be any different on climate change. So, the big news of the week, or one of the big news stories of the week, seems to be, lo and behold, Jesse Ventura is weighing presidential run on the Green Party ticket. And wowzers, it's actually one of the more interesting developments of the political, I guess, atmosphere in 2020. This is probably one of the better things I've seen. I mean, just when things were looking incredibly dark, with Joe Biden just does not stand a chance at this point. And with all the opposition research / criminal investigations going on around the Democratic Party, things dealing with like Spygate and General Flynn and what was going on around all of that, looking to actually smash the Democratic Party even further down into a hole, with no chance of beating Trump. This is actually a sign of light, possible light at the end of the tunnel. If ever there was one. Jesse Ventura weighing presidential run. So he hasn't entered the race yet. If you can find him on Twitter, maybe send him a message. If you think this is a good idea, maybe urge him to say yes to this idea. Jesse Ventura has admitted he's considering jumping in the ring with a wild card presidential run only days after bashing rumors about it. Okay, I've decided I'm going to test the waters. If I were going to run for president, the Green Party would be my first choice. And that's excellent, right? He's really known to be mostly anti-establishment, / libertarian political figure. But the fact that he wants to go green is pretty great. I love this idea. I'm all for this idea. 68-year-old wrestler turned Minnesota governor tweeted Monday, to be clear, I haven't filed anything. I authorized a letter of interest that was sent on my behalf to the Greens. And I'm testing the waters for the Green Party nomination, which actually comes in good timing also for the Greens, because it appears that the leading nominee for the Green Party presidential ticket is somebody who seems to be towing more of like a neoliberal Democratic platform. He's not as left as most Greens have been in the past, and he seems to actually align himself with some of the more the more neoliberal Democratic type ideas, like Russiagate, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, he goes on to say, I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican because I know they're not the solution. His admission confused many followers as it came after a tweet storm Thursday in which he attacked rumors of a run as salacious clickbait articles. Just like everyone said you would, you denied it and got angry about it. Okay, so somebody got mad at him. But they're mad at him. Do not run, they scream at Governor Ventura. He was one of the many who urged him not to split the vote as a wild card candidate, while many others reckoned he could be a knockout. And that is more true than not. File now. We need you to get in the race. You can and will win this if you get in this. One Green Party fan, Marie Fonseca, told him. This is pretty great. I'm all for this because, Jesse Ventura, obviously kind of fills again the space of an anti-establishment figure, more anti-establishment than even Bernie or Trump. He's actually more radical than a Bernie or Trump, and that's right. Jesse ain't got time to bleed. Exactly. He could actually be a people's version of Trump, or a real anti-establishment populist, whereas Trump seems to be anti-establishment and or populist mainly in name only, or in words only, excuse me. He's completely anti-establishment. I would say that he would represent a credible threat to the system. They would seek to discredit him at all costs. And they already are. I'm going to read you an article where they're already trying to squash any idea of Jesse Ventura running or winning. They're trying to squash that down already. If he does jump in, look for some serious smearing by the establishment. But this is the time. The Democrats are completely clueless in how to beat Trump. And of course, because he's running on the green ticket, it will be the Dems that are the most upset about this. Watch closely if this happens. Watch how rabidly the mainstream media will attack him and at the same time try to ignore him. But he's got more spine than Bernie, and there's no one he's beholden to. And he's more libertarian than a progressive on some levels. He could unite the entire spectrum of independents, left and right, that could not just stop Biden, but stop Trump as well. I imagine people are just bone tired of Trump on the right, and if given a truly viable anti-establishment option, I think he could be the one to do it. I thought, and a lot of people thought the same thing in 2016, that if Bernie had jumped out and taken the Greens' offer of running on the ticket, that he could have effectively destroyed the two-party system. But he capitulated completely to the Democratic Party, and there's just no chance that Bernie will ever be, the leader of any kind of revolution on any level. I mean, those days are long gone. But here we go, like out of the shadows, out of the great white north, if you will. Ventura, throws his hat possibly in the ring as a Green Party candidate. Could he be the one to break the two-party system? Please remember to like the video, guys. Thank you if you're watching. I appreciate it. I think he could. I think he has an excellent chance because Biden is toast. If you give somebody else an option, a viable option, I mean, so many people were distraught at having to choose between Trump and Hillary last time around. I mean, so many people were like, oh my God, ugh. And I was one of those people. Ugh. Why these choices? Why are we left with these choices? And, there was another choice, and that choice was Jill Stein, and she was much more to a lot of people's liking. And here's the funny thing about the argument that Jill Stein somehow got Trump elected. The Libertarian candidate actually got 3 times more votes than Jill Stein did. So If the libertarian candidate is going to take any votes away from anybody, it would be the right. It would be Trump. You're right. The dude, Howie Hawkins, seems pretty sucky. He does seem very sucky. So, if the Green Party last time around took votes away from the Dems, it didn't equal the amount of votes that were taken away from the right or from Trump. So that argument is actually false, and so you can't blame Jill Stein, can't blame the Greens. And to all the people that are like, the argument that, oh my God, well, we just absolutely have to vote Trump out. I mean, wasn't that the argument last time? We absolutely have to keep Trump out. That was the same argument, and he's been president. Okay, he's not great on many levels. He's completely dropping the ball on the coronavirus response. I agree, but nobody else is going to be president for the next 10 months. So, we're stuck with him for now. But the idea that, I've heard some other people brought up the idea that possibly, Trump's been waiting for his second term so he could really ramp up the war. Or, this is the time when he's going to attack Iran. Really? I find that to be a dubious argument. I really find that to be a dubious argument. He hasn't shown, he's actually, for better or worse, and in not a very good fashion, he's tried to get us out of Syria and Afghanistan. Trump has. I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not voting for Trump. Didn't vote for Trump. Not going to vote for Trump this time. The thing is that I'm not voting for Biden. So there you go. Prankensquire says Ventura Turner sounds like a great ticket. Yeah, people have proposed Ventura Nina Turner, or Ventura Tulsi Gabbard. I would also wholly and fully endorse that. Ventura with his very strong anti-establishment sentiment, as well as Tulsi Gabbard, her anti-military industrial complex views. I think either one of those would be a great ticket. I Am Sweet Leaf says, I think it's too late for Jesse. Why? Why do you think it's too late? I don't think it's too late at all. Nobody's had any conventions. There's been nobody's been officially nominated by any party. Why not? Why not? No, everybody assumes that it's Trump against Biden. Of course, that's right. But, were we in a regular year? Were we in a regular primary race? Were we in a race where the people running in the primary actually fought like cats and dogs to actually win the race instead of rolled over like a sick puppy like Bernie Sanders for Joe Biden? Because Trump is so bad. Were we in a regular primary, this wouldn't be over until June. We still wouldn't be over. We still wouldn't be done with the primaries. So, it's not too late as far as the year 2020. And Jesse Ventura certainly still has a lot of political capital. He still has a huge amount of name recognition. He's a huge celebrity. I agree with you, Jenny Malloy. I respect Jesse. They'll go after him with a vengeance. He's intelligent and humane. So let's look a little bit more at not Jesse Ventura, but Jesse Ventura. So there's this article in Bloomberg, Will Amash and Ventura shake up the race? This is from a couple days ago. This is a pretty funny article. Third-party candidates can sometimes sway a presidential election. Don't count on it this time. So they're already going, they're not going to have any effect at all. They're already telegraphing to you what to think about this. This is Bloomberg doing their job for the establishment, being the good propagandists that they are. So who knows who Justin Amash is? Does anybody know who he is? Nope, I don't. So Justin Amash, the reason why they put him next to Jesse Ventura is to make it seem like both of these guys are nobodies. And that's actually just completely false, because Justin Amash is an absolute nobody. Jesse Ventura is, everybody knows who Jesse Ventura is. He's huge. But this is the whole tone of the article, right? Has jumped into the presidential race as a Libertarian Party candidate. This follows news that Jesse Ventura, the former governor of Minnesota, may run for the Green Party nomination. The first question about such a candidate is, as opposed to what? Both parties will be on the ballot in a lot of states, which means that if not Amash and Ventura, someone else will be filling those slots. So they could just be anybody. They could just be warm bodies. Ventura, an erstwhile wrestler and actor, is, I suppose, moderately famous. Who the fuck wrote this article? What lunatic wrote this article? They didn't mention the fact that he used to be the governor of Minnesota. They just left this out. That he's extremely famous, that he has a show on RT, that he's had multiple shows on mainstream media. They just left all of that out. An erstwhile wrestler and actor. So they've already started to slam Jesse Ventura. They've already started to downplay him, to destroy his chances. This is the beginning. They've already done it. He hasn't even announced yet. But they're trying to make it look like he's just some dude. He's just some guy. Neither man enters the contest with any real political following. Bullshit. Jesse Ventura used to be the governor of Minnesota. You idiot. You hack. You ridiculous excuse for a journalist. How are you even allowed to write for Bloomberg? This is disgustingly inept. In other words, there's no reason to expect either to have a chance to win even a single electoral vote. Because, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, everybody just loves them so much. I have no idea why Ventura is running. But Green Party candidates in recent cycles have mostly tried to help Republicans win, right? Because that's what they do. They don't actually have a platform that they believe in. They're just there to help Republicans win. They have a model for that kind of campaign. That's their model, is to help Republicans win. If the party actually wanted to boost its membership, the best strategy would be to campaign only in states with lopsided party majorities, where voters concerned about, say, the climate could vote green without having to worry about throwing the election to an incumbent who has governed by supporting as much global warming as possible. Right. As if Jesse Ventura, he actually believes in climate change. And I'm sure, would be fully behind some kind of action, some kind of focused action on climate change. As for Amash, he's a principled small government libertarian who thinks Trump is unfit for office. Oh, well, there's an original thought. Well, there, right there, that's, a super original platform to run. Trump is unfit for office. Oh, like we haven't heard this from the Democratic Party. If his main goal is to defeat the president, he should run a campaign focused not on Trump's deficiencies, but on policy. Well, you got that right. At least this author has at least one good thought in their brains. Anti-Trump ads are unlikely to shake Republican voters. This is a weird article. This is really ridiculous. Justin Amash, no, not one person knows who Justin Amash is. Do you? I don't. Nobody knows who Justin Amash is. But they're trying to equate Jesse Ventura with Justin Amash as like, what? I can't even. What was the Libertarians' candidate's name? Was it Gary Johnson? Last time, 2016. He got more votes than the Green Party, than Jill Stein. But I can assure you, if Jesse Ventura runs on the Green ticket, I can assure you, I will be taking bets. We'll be running a betting pool on the fact that Jesse Ventura is certainly going to get more votes than any Libertarian candidate, and possibly could take a big percentage of the vote. And I would say he would take that percentage away from both left and right, because there are more independent voters. If there was an independent party, if you just amalgamated all the independent voters, they equal more in number than either party on their own, right? So if somebody could appeal to all of those independent voters, they would actually have a bigger party following than either the Republicans or the Democrats. And then how many people do you take away from both of those parties? If they say, well, yeah, I'm not so keen on Trump or Biden, maybe we'll go with Ventura. If Greens go with Jesse, I would consider, this is from the dude, if the Greens go with Jesse, I would consider it proof positive that they have no interest in gaining actual power. If they don't go with Jesse, Ventura would almost certainly breach the 5% ballot access threshold. And that's the other thing as well, is that I believe if they breach that threshold, they are open to getting some financing from the government, right? So that would also help them as well. QuizTune says smear campaigns are so predictable indeed. I mean, it's funny how quickly that happened, right? He's not even announced yet, but they already wrote an article saying, like, who's this guy? Who's this Jesse Ventura guy? Anybody heard of him? Oh my God, they're so, like, transparently stupid. Jesse Ventura would certainly make the establishment lose their minds. They would lose their minds. I mean, get ready for an absolute circus if he announces Green. And if people start going, hey, I think I'm going to go Ventura. If he starts picking up momentum, they are going to lose their absolute minds over this. And they'll run the Bernie playbook at him. They'll ignore him. They won't follow any of his rallies. They'll act like he doesn't exist. If they do say anything about him, they'll call him a conspiracy theorist, a radical, a Russian bot. Everything that they've already done, they'll do that and more. Here's Jesse Ventura on climate change.
There's a reason. Don't send those polecats back to Congress. Send them back to science class. Each week I tell you stay vigilant and you ask me how. Here's step one. Don't re-elect any of those three polecats in November. Let's go to my vigilant producer, Alex Logan, with our countdown on three polecats who not to vote for.
So he's talking about climate deniers. He's talking about not voting in these climate deniers. He said, send him back to science class. So he believes in climate change. That's why he would pick the Green Party as his party, because he believes in climate science. He believes in climate change. He believes that it's an issue that needs to be addressed. I mean, if you have somebody with his kind of name brand recognition on the Green Party ticket, this would be, ultimately, this could turn into, this could go from one of the worst political years ever to one of the best political years ever. Hey guys, remember to like the video, make sure you're still subscribed, and you can support the channel at the links below, PayPal, Square, Patreon, etc. Thank you.